Hi, I'm Melissa Krieger with Do Yoga With Me. This is Hatha Yoga for Beginners, Better Balance. You might want to block for this routine. Begin lying on your back with your feet flat and your knees bent, please. Tuck your chin a little bit closer to your chest. Your knees can knock in towards each other and your arms can just rest down beside you. Start to settle into your breath. Let your inhale get a little bit bigger. And the exhale longer. Start to use your breath to help you connect into your core. So you'll still take that big inhale in. And then make the exhale really thorough, like you're trying to release all the breath out of your body. You'll notice the inhale comes in pretty easily. And then that really thorough exhale again. So you might notice when you blow all your breath out, exhaling all the way out, your abdominal muscles, they're going to wake up a little bit. And your pelvic floor muscles, they do too. So we're starting to connect into our deep core just by our breath. So I encourage you throughout this practice to keep that exhale really extended. Having a little bit more support and strength in your core will help your balance. Now the next time you take that really long exhale out, you might also draw back a little bit at your low belly, so a couple inches below your belly button, and draw up a little bit at your pelvic floor, so the muscles at the base of the pelvis, the ones that are responsible for stopping the flow of urine for males and for females. Big inhale in. Long exhale out. Potentially, pelvic floor pulls up a little bit, low belly draws back a little bit. Make sure you can get a good inhale in. And then again, that long exhale out. Possibly, low belly is also pulling back, pelvic floor is drawing up. So a couple ways to engage through the deep core, which can help with your balance in some of the postures today. When you decide you're ready to move, maybe go for a big stretch or a yawn or anything else that feels good. Let your feet be flat on the floor again and draw your knees in towards your chest. So I'll just be dropping a few little tips about how to improve your balance in our warm-up, and then we'll be able to put them together once we start to move more. Let your arms come down beside you, chin still kind of tucked in. On your inhale, stretch your arms and your legs straight up to the sky, and then keep reaching your arms back behind you. It doesn't matter if they touch the floor or not. And then on the exhale, go back to that starting position. Bend your knees. Your feet are still off the floor. Hands come down beside you. So just try to link up your breath and your movement, please. Inhaling. And remember, when you exhale, low belly maybe pulls back a little bit, pelvic floor draws up. When you inhale and stretch your legs up, think about keeping the legs kind of firm and active, as well as the feet awake, like you're standing on the ceiling. So that's another way you can help your balance a little bit, is firming and waking up your legs and waking up your feet. So trying to spread your toes wide, taking up lots of area with your feet can definitely help, and some of the balances will do. Now keep the feet off the floor, knees into the chest, and bring your hands into prayer position, please. Still working with your breath, you'll inhale, arms and legs stretch up. Keep inhaling so they stretch open, 2 big V's. Big exhale, squeeze your arms and your legs back together, and then back down to that starting position, feet still off the floor. So here, what you'll be focusing on, inhaling. When you exhale, like you're squeezing in towards the midline, bending back down again. So when we squeeze in towards the midline, it's subtle, but we do help to wake up the deep core a little bit. We get that same thing in our arms and our legs, a little bit more our legs. So we'll use that a few times to help you potentially improve your balance. Squeeze back together. And then let the feet come back down to the floor. You'll grab your block or pillow and stick it in between your knees or your inner thighs, wherever it's more comfortable. Just gauge that your hips, knees, and heels are about the same distance apart. And that block's getting a little bit of a nudge, so there's that waking up the midline. And your feet are pushing firmly into the floor, so there's that strong foot connection. Plus you use your core for a little bit of extra stability. Inhale at the bottom. Big exhale, blow all your breath out. Connect into your core. Push your feet down, lift your hips up, come up into a bridge. Backsides engage, block gets a squeeze, feet push down. One inhale. And then exhale to lower back down again. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, blow all your breath out, find your core, push your feet down, lift your hips up. Breathe at the top, active through the midline, the core of the feet. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale, push down to lift up. Inhale to hold. Exhale to lower. Take the block in between your hands. Give it a little bit of a squeeze, hands just above the chest. Big inhale. Big exhale, kick into your core. Lift up one leg and then the other into tabletop. Working with your arms and your legs, you'll get a little bit deeper into the core. Inhale. Exhale. Engage your core. Inhale, one leg straightens and reaches forward, both arms back. Strong exhale, come back in towards the center. Switch. Inhale, the other leg extends out. Exhale to come back in. So as you keep moving through this, you're using that strong, almost sharp exhale. You're still encouraging the low belly to draw back and the pelvic floor to draw up. And you're squeezing into the block with the hands, so you're waking up the midline a little bit. The other thing here is your feet could feel like they're kind of awake. So I've got my toes pointed, maybe yours are flexed, but they're active, they're on. Take one more, please. Let your feet come back down to the ground. Move that block out of the way. Walk your feet as wide as the mat. Keep them wide. Grab onto your elbows so you've got a square shape above your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, let your knees drop to one side. Elbows go the other way. Inhale, come back through to center. Exhale off to the other side. So just a little bit of a twist, a release in the spine before we move on. Come back through to center. If it's comfortable for your back, you'll draw your knees in towards your chest and cross at your ankles. You can hold behind your thighs and you'll get a little bit of momentum here, rocking up and down a few times to bring yourself up towards your seat. If it's not comfortable, just roll to your side. You'll take your thumbs and you'll just start to massage into your foot a little bit. So there's a few things around our feet with our balance. Sometimes in the poses, it helps for our feet to be active and awake, and we'll do an example of that. Other times in our poses, it helps for our feet to be relaxed and spread out and taking up lots of space. So giving ourselves a little bit of a foot massage can just help us access that space, that softness a little bit better. If it's comfortable, take your fingers and weave them in between your toes. For some of you, this will feel pretty good. Others, not so much. Maybe move the toes a little bit. Keep the breath moving. And then switch feet. Just kind of digging into that other foot. Something else that can feel really nice is rolling your foot out on a tennis ball or on a spiny ball. And then you'll definitely notice a difference if you roll it out and then stand on your foot afterwards to see what it feels like. Your foot feels like it takes up a lot more space, and really that's what we want in a balance, right? Our foot taking up as much space, getting as much surface area as possible. Take the fingers, if it feels okay, weave through. Another thing to remember with balance is it's really difficult and everybody struggles with it. And when we balance in a yoga class in our bare feet, it is the hardest. Even if you think your feet are really big, they're not that big. If you were wearing shoes, you'd have a bigger surface area and a flatter surface area. So you're actually giving yourself the most challenge with your bare feet, which is good practice. Come on into all fours, please. Tuck your toes under so you get a little bit of a stretch through the feet. Hands are spread wide, wrists underneath the shoulders. Just let your spine move a little bit, so maybe the hips can just shift from side to side. Maybe you can circle a little. And circle the other way. And then let the feet flatten out again. So the last point with balance is a stationary gaze point. So here in this position, you'll just look right in between the hands, maybe an inch or two in front of the hands. The chin's kind of tucked in, so you're looking down to the mat rather than looking forward or back to your body. Take a big breath in. Big exhale, find your core. One leg extends back behind you. Opposite arm stretches forward. Wake up that extended leg and that foot like you're pushing the foot into the wall. One breath. And exhale to lower that hand and knee down. Inhale. Exhale, blow all your breath out. One leg extends back behind you. Opposite arm stretches forward. Foot is awake, leg is active, core is strong. One breath. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale to extend. Really reach out through the arm and the leg. Taking one strong breath here. Exhaling to lower. Last one, inhale. Exhale, find your core. Extend out, opposite arm and leg. Inhale, one breath. Exhale to lower. Coming up to downward dog, the hands go wider. Pinky fingers almost touching the sides of the mat, or maybe they do. Fingers very flared out. Toes tuck, belly drops a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, press the hips up and back, let your head hang down. So just keep it nice and relaxed, maybe walking your dog out a little bit, maybe letting the hips move a bit. And then just walk your feet up towards your hands, please. See that the feet are symmetrical. Slide the hands to the shins or the knees. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold down. And then come right up to standing. Push your feet firmly into the floor and roll yourself up. One vertebra at a time. The head can come up last. Circle your arms back a few times. And then just give everything a little bit of a shake out. Shake out your legs, your arms. Take your arms to the sky. Shake out your shoulders, your hips. Make your way to the top of the mat. Turn your palms forward, standing in mountain pose, so nice and tall. Shoulders drop. Notice how you feel. Notice your breath. So let's review all those concepts. Walk your feet closer together. Big toes are pushing firmly into the floor, so are your feet. Your legs are squeezing in towards the midline, and your legs are awake. You've kind of firmed up the legs, your backside a little bit. You're taking a big exhale. Pelvic floor is pulling up, low belly's drawing back. You'll bring the hands into prayer, again, kind of squeezing in towards the midline. You'll look straight ahead, so you've got that nice stationary gaze point. Let your hands come down. Feet just a normal distance apart. So testing that out in tree pose. Shift your weight onto one foot, spread the toes wide, firm up the leg, engage the glute. Take that big exhale, find your core, find your stationary point. Let the knee open out to the side, and bring that foot up a little bit higher so you can sit it below the knee or above the knee. Get a sense that everything is squeezing in towards the midline. Remember, the hands can be a prayer as well. Hold and breathe. It's harder to have a higher and farther away stationary point. So if you need a modification, look down. You're also more than welcome to use the walls for support, right? So you can come off your mat, you can use a chair, whatever you need. Take an inhale. And then exhale to let the arms go. Let the leg go. Leg's a little bit of a shakeout. And switch sides. So shift over to the other foot. Spread the toes wide. Relax the foot. Firm up the leg, the back side. Take a big exhale. Find your core. Find that stationary point. Let the knee open out. You could stay low with the foot on the floor, or you could come up below the knee or above the knee. Squeeze everything into center. And even though this is a challenge, you're still trying to stay soft and relaxed. There's still breath flowing. Let the arms come down. Let the leg come down. Shake out the legs a little bit. So we'll take it a little bit further to a few more sequences. You'll shift your weight onto one foot, spread the toes really wide, firm up the leg, wake up the core, find your stationary point. Take an exhale and use a little bit of abdominal strength to help lift up the other knee. The hands can come into prayer position. You can stay just like this, or you can add more of a challenge by moving. So you'd be tipping back into kind of a warrior C. So you'd start to tip forward, and you'd push the leg behind you, and the foot's really active, right? Like you're pushing into the wall. And then you'll come back up again, bending the knee, bringing the knee in. Try that again if it's okay. Maybe this is the inhale as you tip forward. Maybe this is the exhale as you come back up again. So you can hold anywhere you like, or you can keep moving through it. Or maybe on this next one, you come and hold the warrior C. So when you tip down, you're trying to get your torso about parallel with the floor. Hips and shoulders are squared down to the floor. Your hands could stay in prayer, which I find a little bit easier, or you could take them to your waist or stretch them out or back or forward. Take another inhale. Big exhale. Come back up again. And then release the leg down, release the hand, shake out your legs. Your legs work really hard in balance, and your legs get kind of twitchy. It's all really normal, and you can always rest when you need to. Shift your weight onto the other foot, spread the toes wide, firm up the leg, find your core, your stationary point. Take an exhale, kick in the core. The knee lifts up. Hands to prayer. Relax. If it works for you, you'll tip back, coming into that warrior C just briefly, and then coming back up again. So the leg that's up in the air, that foot, you want that foot and that leg really awake and active. The leg that's supporting you, that foot, you want that foot relaxed, taking up lots of space. So you might choose to hold this warrior C, but if you need to come out of it, not a big deal. Wake up the legs, keep the core active, keep the exhale strong. When you're ready, come back up again. And then let it go. Shake it out. You'll probably notice that the balance is quite different from side to side. That's really normal. One leg stronger, the other not as much. You might want to use a block for this next one. You'll start at the top of the mat, and you'll step your left leg back. So you're stepping back into triangle, which means it's maybe a leg's distance back, and the back toes are turned in on a diagonal, so your toes and your hips are more on a diagonal here. Sweep out through the arms, drop the shoulders down, pull your back hip behind you, keep it behind you, and then reach forward, 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 forward. When you can't come forward anymore, the hand just lightly goes down like your thigh or your knee or your shin. Roll your torso open. You might just briefly look up to the top hand, try to line up your thumb and your nose, but you don't have to stay looking up. You could look down to the floor or just straight ahead. So here's where this gets tricky. We're turning this into a half moon pose. You might end up using your block. Your top arm can bend so it rests on your hip. You're looking down toward your front foot, connecting into your core. Gonna hop that back foot in about halfway, and then you might grab your block. Before you move anywhere, make sure the foot's relaxed. You're taking a big exhale, you're finding your core, you've got your stationary point on the floor, and you'll start to straighten your front leg as you lift your back leg. The leg is super active, so is the foot. The big toe line is parallel to the floor. You might fall out of it. This is a tricky pose for sure. You could stack your hips open a little bit more. You could stretch your top arm up to the sky. Keep breathing. And then see if you can come out of it coming into warrior B. So the back foot's going to find the floor. It's about parallel to the short side of the mat. You'll stand up tall, split the arms, look over the index finger on the front hand. The knees moving to the baby toe side. Take a breath or two here. Straighten the legs, drop the arms, step forward, shake it out. It's a tough one. That half moon in particular is one of the hardest balances, I think. So see how it goes. It's going to be quite different on the other side. From the top of the mat, you'll take your right leg back. Finding triangle on this side, hips and back toes parallel, legs straight and strong, sweep out through the arms, drop the shoulders, hip pulls back behind you as you lean forward and forward and forward, eventually down. Pull the torso back, your hips push a little bit forward. You might look up to your top hand just to line up your nose and your thumb, but then you might end up looking forward or down after that. So it's quite a narrow pose. It's not about getting down as low as you can at all. It's more about maintaining these nice long lines in your torso. So maybe half moon. Your top hand can bend. You can bend into your front knee, hop that back foot in about halfway. You can grab that block, have it on the highest setting for a little bit more support. Find your stationary point, find your core. Take a big exhale. Lift that back leg. So both legs straighten. Baby toe line and big toe line are parallel to the floor. Maybe you keep looking down the whole time, or maybe the hips roll open a little bit more and the arm reaches up. Keep breathing. Don't worry about the shakiness. Warrior B, let that back foot gracefully find the floor. Stand tall again. Split the arms. Bend into your front knee. Knee moves to the baby toe side. Looking forward. Take a couple breaths. Straighten up. Drop your arms. Step forward. Shake it out. Good work. Take a bit of a flow to come down. The feet can come a little bit closer together. The hands can come into prayer. Take an inhale in. Take an exhale, drop your hands. Take an inhale, breathe up. Take an exhale, dive down. Just bring the hands down for downward dog. Spread the fingers really wide. Walk your feet back to downward dog. Just a brief breath here. And then come down to child's pose. Maybe the knees go a little bit wider apart, or they could stay closer together. And then lower yourself down so the forehead rests on the mat or your hands. Stretch out your next 2 breaths. And then slowly start to bring yourself up. Make your way towards your back. When you're on your back, remember to move the chin just a little bit closer to your chest. Pick one foot up. Crush your ankle over your thigh so your knee pushes away from you. Your back foot can stay on the ground, or you can pick the back foot up and thread your hands through to the back thigh to pull in the legs a little bit closer. Chin is still nudging forward, shoulders relaxed. Let the breath just smooth out. We're done the balances. So we want to calm your body back down again. So slow, steady, rhythmic breath. More an emphasis on the exhale, less on connecting into your core. Let that back foot come down to the floor. Cross your legs tighter. Stretch your arms out to T position. Shift your hips a little bit in the direction of your top crossed over leg. And then let your knees fall down in the direction the other way. So the twist is a little bit deeper. You're pulling more into your hips and your low back. For some of you, this is okay. For others of you, you might need to uncross the legs. The arms are stretched out and open, chin slightly tucked in. Take a few breaths here. Take an inhale. Take an exhale, push your arms against the ground, pull the legs back through to center, uncross the legs, even out the hips. Take that stretch on the other side, so pick the other foot up, cross your ankle over your thigh, knee pushes away from you. That back foot could stay down, or you could pick it up and thread through to the back thigh. Make sure here that your jaw, your shoulders, and your hands are pretty relaxed. Let that back foot come to the ground. Stretch your arms out to T position. Cross your legs tighter. Shift your hips a little bit in the direction of that top leg, that crossed over leg. And then the knees fall down in the opposite direction. Try to keep the collarbones pretty open, the shoulder blades pretty broad, chin's a little bit tucked in. Again, you can uncross your legs if this ends up being too much of a pull. Take a big inhale. Exhale, push your arms into the ground. Bring your legs back through to center. Uncross them. Even out your hips. And come to rest in Savasana, your corpse pose. So your legs are maybe straight, but if your low back doesn't like that, feel free to bend your knees. Your palms flip up to the sky. And just allow your body to totally drop down into the floor. We'll be here for a couple minutes. You don't need to control your core anymore either, or your breath. You're just relaxing, soaking up the practice. you're not ready to move and want to stay in Savasana, please stay as long as you like. For those of you that are okay to add a little bit of movement again, you'll just start by letting your inhale get stronger. And then you'll move a little bit, just small, maybe nodding the head, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Might go for a big stretch, a big yawn. You can bend your knees, roll to your side. Push the top hand down to bring yourself up to seated. Hands at prayer, eyes closed, head bows down. Notice how you feel. Thank yourself for showing up and practicing. And of course, thank your body for all its hard work. Open your eyes. Lift your head. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.